Now to Queensland, where the bushfire emergency is on its way. Firefighters are continuing to battle more than 50 blazes across the state. Our reporters are at the key locations and have the latest from emergency headquarters in a moment. But first, Anna Rawlings joins us live from Canungra Showground. Anna, what are you hearing from crews on the ground?
Well, Annalise, really this is just a hub of activity here at the Canungra Showgrounds. This is the staging centre. It means it's where the fire crews and SES crews are basing their operations from. There has been a lot of activity this morning. Just moments ago, a military helicopter landed. I'm told it's getting a generator on board to take up to the range behind me to a communications centre there. They've lost power and they need that emergency generator in. So that's just one example of the kind of situations that crews are dealing with as these fires continue to burned through the hinterland. As well as this being the staging centre, it's also been a destination for evacuees who have had to leave their homes. There's caravans, there's camper trailers set up here. Overnight there was an evacuee meeting held and there were heartbreaking stories of people who just managed to grab their pets and possessions before the fires came too close for them to safely be there. Now, across the hinterland there's been 22 structures, or as a result of the fires there's been 22 structures destroyed in the Binnaburra area where there is still a fire burning and of concern. There's been 11 structures, while there's been around 2 or 3 that have burnt down near the Stanthorpe and the Applethorpe areas. So the closest fire at the moment that's of most concern is behind the ridge just behind me. It is moving in a westerly direction towards Sarahbar, and that's where fireys are concentrating their efforts. Of course, the winds have been very strong and it is just so dry out here. So given these gusty winds, firefighters will no doubt be hoping for a reprieve. There is also 10 schools that are closed as a result of these fires. At the moment, a couple of warnings, though, have been downgraded. Most of these warnings in this area are for stay informed, so people are just reminded to keep an eye on alerts and then if they are told to move, to be ready to go.
Anna Rawlings, thank you. And now we'll go to Brendan Smith, who's at the emergency headquarters. Brendan, weather conditions are continuing to hamper authorities' efforts.
Yeah, dry, hot and windy conditions. Just touching on those conditions Anna was speaking about there, a wind gust of up to 80 kilometres an hour at the moment, really hampering those efforts with firefighters. There are around 60 fires burning at the moment. They are currently at an advice level at the moment, but firefighters say this is an extremely volatile situation and anything can change in a minute. Let's hear now from Deputy Commissioner Neil. Let's hear from Neil Gallant.
The threat is all across Queensland. The 2 main fires, the Stanthorpe fire, that one's largely contained. We're not 100% confident yet, but certainly looking a lot better there. The Binnaburra fire, it's not contained. There's no easy spot to stop that one. What we're doing is keeping the residents informed and then protecting the houses as the fire comes near it. But really, all across Queensland, it's very dry, very windy. There's no respite in the next week or 2 at least.
Now, of course, with these ferocious blazes, a number of residents have been displaced and are yet to find out if their homes are still standing. They are unable to access them due to a number of roads being blocked and massive trees blocking access roads to areas including Binnaburra and Stanthorpe. We heard from the Acting Premier, Jackie Trad. Here's what she had to say.
People will be able to return when it's fundamentally safe to do so, not just for them accessing their properties, but we also need to make sure that access corridors to continue to fight fires remain clear, and we need to keep them clear from human traffic and other vehicular traffic.
So there is unlikely that there will be a reprieve in the next couple of days. Looking ahead to the 7-day forecast, there isn't a chance of rain, so firefighters will still be battling with those dry and windy conditions. And just reiterating calls from authorities, people should have an evacuation plan in place should they be told to move on immediately.